So this is the dress code campaign presentation for Bryn Dalton, Abby Daughtry, Kyler Burke, and Andy Duenas. So let's start off by explaining the executive summary. According to the National Girls Collaborative Project, women make up half of the total United States college-educated workforce, but only 28% of the science and engineering workforce. That's where dress code comes in. A company built on the goal to plant the seed of interest in STEM in young girls by integrating fashion with science, technology, engineering, and math. Dress Code's mission statement reads, "Our goal is to encourage curiosity by merging fashion and technology. This is the backbone to the company's products, as consumers can buy gorgeous bracelets with binary code that can unlock them an inspirational message. I am bold. I am smart," and a coding lesson alongside of it. Dress Code's objectives lie in, ultimately, inspiring young females to learn coding and grow their interest in STEM career paths. By doing so, as a startup company, they want to grow their awareness as a company, promote goodwill, inform others about its purpose, increase social media presence, and increase its brand recognition. In completing focus groups, starting trending hashtags, and implementing focus groups, we plan to ultimately complete a range of major strategies that will help grow Dress Code as a startup company to help reach the main objectives we set out to achieve. This campaign will run its duration of 12 months with a budget of $15,000. Okay, so let's look at the situation analysis. Dress Code was established on the foundation of inspiring young girls and women to pursue their interests in science and coding, a brand that is breaking down stigmas that women do not belong in STEM. It deserves to be recognized. So with some internal factors, we have CEO and founder Katie Malik. We also have a mission statement. Our goal is to encourage curiosity by merging fashion and technology. We also have the product. Dress Code creates they create bracelets that are coded with a message that can only be deciphered using the unlocking function on the company's website. Once the code is entered into the website, an inspirational message will be displayed. The customer will then have the chance to start an online coding lesson. We also have the services. Dress Code offers lessons in HTML, JavaScript, and CSS after the code from the bracelet has been entered online, as well as communication media. Dress Code maintains a social media presence on Facebook and Instagram. These mediums allow the brand to promote the product while controlling the message that consumers receive. Dress Code currently has 965 followers on Instagram and 349 likes on Facebook. So budget. There is currently a $15,000 budget for the public relations campaign. So now let's look at some external factors. Voyage Chicago interviewed Dress Code CEO and founder Katie Malik. This interview details the foundation that Dress Code stands on and the impact it's making on women. As stated in the article, in just 1 year, the company exposed at least 1,500 women to STEM. Dress Code has also been featured in articles by Forbes and A+. These articles are displayed on the Dress Code website under the Press tab. Also, in a survey of 50 female undergraduate students at the University of Florida, only 3 students had heard of Dress Code. At the completion of this campaign, a higher statistic of brand recognition will be achieved amongst young women throughout the country. There are a multitude of groups and organizations that share the same ideas as Dress Code to promote women in STEM. A few of the leading organizations are National Girls Collaborative Project, the Association for Women in Science, and Women Million Mentors. A study by the NCWGE found that the amount of women in STEM has actually increased by 50% in the past 20 years. And the United States Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights passed Title IX, which prevents gender discrimination in an educational environment. This policy can protect any women that's wishing to pursue a career in STEM. So now let's move on to some problems and their consequences. To start, the main problem concerns whether or not dress code as a whole can sustain the interest in young girls after the coding lesson has already been completed. By not offering incentives, programs, or resources for young girls to look towards after the coding lesson has already been completed, there is no guarantee of a low turnover rate from incentivizing young girls to grow up and getting involved with the STEM-based careers. In addition to this, it's important to consider whether or not it would be difficult to regulate the level of difficulty of the coding lessons for such a wide range of ages as the target audience is. The comprehension level of a 7-year-old differs highly from that of an 18-year-old. So while 7-year-olds are old enough to comprehend numbers and do math and complete comprehension benchmarks at an average reading level, an average 18-year-old can complete those benchmarks much, much quicker. On the other hand, though, the 18-year-olds may get bored out of it, and they won't be as inclined to go back to the website to learn nor pursue STEM in the future. The other consequence is vice versa. While the majority of dress code's goal is to create interest in the technology world, there's a lot of reference to the breadth of STEM. Because of this, why limit lessons to just coding when STEM offers a plethora of learning opportunities for young girls? STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. So while this acronym is extremely broad, there are a lot of small ways that dress code could incorporate different types of STEM in its business models. By not doing so, it may not interest as many young girls as possible by not opening up further opportunity for them to find their destined outlets that are offered within the STEM world. So now let's look at some campaign objectives. We've chosen a series of 4 objectives ranging from simple topics to those that are a little bit more complex. While these may be 4 separate ideas, they are all dependent upon each other. Our first objective is to raise awareness for the dress code brand. We place this as our top priority as we believe that this is the essence of any public relations campaign. Without brand awareness, our philosophy, the mission, the vision, they mean very little. Our goal is to increase dress code's brand recognition by over 60% over the course of the campaign. The second objective for this campaign is to promote goodwill. Dress code's philosophy and mission are quite organic in nature. We want to accentuate the company's efforts of empowerment, inspiration, and motivation. Our third objective is simply to inform. This goes hand in hand with the awareness for the dress code brand. We want our target audiences to know what dress code is about and what they stand for. We also want to inform our audiences of the unique and special product line that dress code offers. So fourth, we want to increase the brand's social media presence. Specifically, we aspire to increase presence by 50% each year for 3 consecutive years. So increasing this presence will bolster those first 3 objectives as it gives an outlet to raise awareness, to promote goodwill, and to inform the public. We will use unique social media impressions as a measurement for this. So now let's look at our target audiences. We've determined 2 specific audiences for this campaign, one being a primary target audience and the other a secondary target audience. There will also be tertiary audiences throughout the course of the campaign, which really depends on specific programs that are being accentuated. So we chose parents, both mothers and fathers, between the ages of 25 and 55 years old as our primary target audience. We chose this audience due to its $6 trillion purchasing power and the parents' drive to purchase products that will better their children's lives. The parents are usually a part of a friend group with other parents who will also potentially purchase the product off of the word of mouth from those early adopters. So for the secondary target audience, we decided to focus on the children of our primary audience, basically female children ages 7 to 18 years old. We believe it necessary to target this group for 2 reasons. First, dress code's entire mission and philosophy is based around empowering these girls to learn STEM skills and inspire them to do great things. Also, since their ability to persuade their parents or even their friends to purchase this product in which they believe, it's highly underestimated. If a child within this group convinces his or her parents to purchase the product and he or she loves it, then that child can potentially start a localized trend which can increase brand awareness in those concentrated areas. There will also be potential tertiary or special audiences, which will be ancillary really to the campaign and highly based on the campaign's accentuation of more specific efforts, such as Women in Tech, which is a training program, or Code and Friends, which is a coding pop-up shop. The tertiary audiences will likely be women or men who wish to host these programs across the nation. All right, so now let's look at some audience objectives. So our main audience objective is to spread brand awareness. Just as we indicated in our campaign objectives, the essence of a successful public relations campaign is to spread awareness for the brand and its efforts. For our primary target audience, we are expecting the parents to spread awareness for DressCode through the word of mouth within their friend groups, as well as sharing content and positive feedback on social media. For our secondary target audience, we anticipate those children, like what we were talking about, to spread brand awareness by either explaining DressCode to their parents or to their friends during school or recreational activities. Our secondary audience objective, so that second audience objective is for our target audience to continue on the same legacy of goodwill demonstrated by DressCode. As a campaign objective, we believe motivating our audience to align their behaviors with that of the brands will further substantiate DressCode's organic and inspirational business. So we have three messages which we desire to convey in the campaign, one primary message with two secondary or supporting messages. So our main message is to empower women of all ages to become educated. We align with DressCode to present a unified idea that knowledge in any capacity is priceless. If girls can be empowered to value their education at a young age, then it will resonate throughout their lives as they grow. But this empowerment doesn't stop with young girls, as we hope to empower women of all ages to pursue knowledge and education. A supporting message that we will convey is that of change, a change in the position of science and technology in the minds of students and their parents. We desire to inspire all audiences to see science and technology as equally important as all those other subjects. So our last supporting message is that of fusing fashion, functionality, and education together by one brand into one innovative line of products and services. Who says fashion, functionality, and education or knowledge have to be separated from one another? DressCode believes in their product as a life changer, and we intend to make it known their philosophy as well as their genius products and services to their entire audience base. All right, so the following strategies will guide the campaign's process and will be reviewed to measure success. Each strategy will work to accomplish the goals and the objectives set forth in the initiation or during the initiation of the campaign. Post consistently on the social media platforms. Consistency is crucial to developing a powerful online presence for a brand. This consistency can ultimately help to increase the brand recognition and assist with DressCode's mission to inspire women in science and coding. Community involvement. A brand that invests in the community invests in itself. Community events are a great way not only to promote DressCode as a brand, but it is an opportunity also to engage directly with that target audience. Community involvement will allow the target audience to hear the message directly from the source. Developing partnerships. Partnerships can be beneficial and have access to additional platforms to promote a message. These platforms can be either physical locations. Partnerships are also normally sought out with trusted organizations that can positively influence a campaign and provide direct access to the desired target audiences. In this case, partnerships will be made with schools to target a younger demographic. And then customer testimonials. Let the customers be heard. The word of mouth has proven to be one of the most successful tools in marketing and public relations. With reviews of the products as well as customer testimonials, DressCode could increase brand awareness and productivity significantly. Okay, so let's look at some tactics. So we're going to conduct a focus group to find out opinions that young girls and women have on the careers in the STEM-related fields. Results of this focus group will be utilized to raise awareness on the problem. It will also provide statistical information for some social media content. We're also going to host a 5K race sponsored by DressCode and have a spokesperson actually from DressCode speak at the event. The donations of the proceeds will go to women in STEM scholarships. It will promote community engagement. It also offers opportunity to interact with target audiences directly, like we said, and it promotes goodwill and a humanitarian aspect of the brand. We're going to utilize the hashtag #HowICode to encourage women to share photos of their dress code bracelets accompanied by their stories on social media of how they became involved in STEM. Creating this unique hashtag will not only encourage customers to post, but it will allow us to track that social media content. It's going to encourage consumers also to engage, and it will be used for tracking growth in that on. We're also going to partner with schools across the nation to share the message behind dress code and encourage young girls to pursue their interests in science and coding. Partnerships with the schools will allow us to reach that target audience of young girls ages 7 to 18. This younger audience may be more difficult to reach since they don't have access to social media. So by reaching out to the schools, it will provide a platform for dress code not only to inform the audience about the brand, but to encourage them to pursue interests in STEM. So Hootsuite will be used to curate content and consistently post to Facebook and Instagram based off of a content calendar. This promotes the online presence through that consistent posting, as well as the consistency on social media will help us actually reach our target audience. Okay, so now let's look at the schedule for kind of how we're going to go about doing this. So in month one's going to be focused mainly on client onboarding. It's also going to be strategy overview, so we're going to go over that strategy with dress code. We're going to conduct a focus group to find out the opinions that young girls and women have on careers in STEM-related fields. We're also going to optimize dress code's social media channels, which is Instagram and Facebook, to promote the brand during the campaign. So when we move on to month two, this is when we're going to schedule out content across Facebook and Instagram for the entire month to promote dress code and that 5K initiative. We're going to introduce the hashtag #HowICode to encourage women to share those photos of their dress code bracelets accompanied by their stories on social media of how they became involved in STEM. And this is also when we're going to start planning that dress code 5K run. So again, in month three, just like in month two, we're going to schedule out content across Facebook and Instagram for that entire month, especially to promote that dress code 5K, as well as some other content. But in month three, we're also going to actually host that dress code 5K run. And then we're going to announce the recipient via social media and press releases that are distributed via a wire service, so that way we can announce that winner. So and then months 4 through 12, basically we're going to schedule out content again across Facebook and Instagram for each of those months for the entire month at one time. As well as in months 4 through 12, kind of like what we were talking about, we're also going to partner with one school each of those months to promote dress code. Okay, so now let's look at the budget. The budget is broken down to reflect a 12-month PR campaign for dress code. The campaign is broken into project expenses and the anticipated income for the agency. So with this cost breakdown under the project expenses, we have $1,000 for focus groups, $500 for social media channels and optimization, $2,750 for social media ads, $100 for content scheduling. We have $50 for content creation, probably through Canva. Then we also have $2,000 for those event items like the 5K run. We have $1,300 for the press release distribution, $2,000 for the school partnerships, $200 for printing materials, and $100 for the monitoring services to make a total of $10,000. And we also have an anticipated income from those agency fees of $5,000 to total the $15,000 budget. All right, so in order to gauge the success of this campaign, we will use various different tools to measure the success of each objective within our dress code PR campaign. So our objectives are to raise awareness of the dress code brand, promote goodwill, and simply inform the public of our initiative and brand. That fourth objective is to increase our social media presence, which will actually support those first three objectives. So one of our first events that will not only raise brand awareness but also promote our goodwill is the Dress Code 5K race. This race is intended to raise awareness around inspiring young females to learn coding and grow their interest in STEM career paths. Funds collected from the race will be distributed in the form of a scholarship to women in STEM undergraduate programs, which will promote the brand's goodwill. We will also gauge the success of this based on the money we raise as well as the press coverage we gain. Our efforts in promoting brand awareness, promoting goodwill, and informing the public will also be gauged using media monitoring tools that include the success of the press release distributions as well as the ongoing press coverage we receive. Our objective to increase our brand's online social or our online presence will be measured by social media monitoring tools such as Planoly, Facebook Manager, Google Analytics. Planoly and Facebook Manager will give us a closer look into our audience growth on Instagram and Facebook. These metric tools will allow us to gauge our efforts with content creation and ad spend to measure our success for each current strategy each month. Google Analytics will also allow us to measure brand awareness by how many people visit our website through the duration of the campaign. Okay, so let's look at some pertinent research. So let's look at this interview with founder of DressCode, Katie Malik, with the Chicago Herald. She was asked what her inspiration for DressCode was. She grew up with a technological family, but she was isolated as a female in the STEM major, basically. So basically for her, what started out with this as a school project turned into an inspiration for young women that are now interested in STEM. So the tables have kind of turned on that. She was also asked, what is DressCode? She basically stated that it's a company that combines the fashion and technology, kind of like what we indicated earlier. Basically, the product is a bracelet with binary code, with a binary code design that unlocks an empowering message and a coding lesson. And then lastly, she was asked what her goals for the future were. Really, her goals right now were to kind of further the exposure and awareness of the brand. She wants to continue inspiring women in STEM as well as to grow on social media. She believes that is a large goal of hers. So in order to determine what exactly girls are looking for in terms of dream jobs and what they want to be when they grow up, we set up polling sites across the United States and random sampled 505 young girls with equal distribution between the age range of 7 and 18 years old. We gave them a simple piece of paper and asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? There were 15 choices, which you can see lined up on the side of the chart here. Altogether, the largest sum of girls chose doctor, teacher, and veterinarian, making up about 55%, over half of the random sample population. The least chosen occupations were other, indicating that the job that they were interested in was not listed. Mathematician and writer, which makes up about 3.6% of that random sample. In the results, there were 6 occupations that represented STEM: doctor, scientist, mathematician, computer scientist, engineer, and veterinarian. These occupations made up about 43% of the random sample, with doctor and engineer being the highest portion, and mathematician and veterinarian being the lowest portion. So lastly, let's look at the results from the focus group. One of our tactics was to organize and conduct a focus group in order to find out the opinions that young girls and women have on the careers in the STEM-related fields. Our target audience included 14 participants, 7 women from the primary target audience ranging from 25 to 55 years old, as well as 7 young girls ranging from 7 to 18 years old. These are the questions that were introduced and moderated in the discussion. What is STEM? How is technology incorporated into your daily life? Do you have any interest in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics? Are there more men or women involved in the STEM field today? How can we grow the amount of women in the STEM workforce? Why do you think there are less women in STEM? And is coding something that should be required for all students in a college curriculum? So overall, the women and young women that participated in this focus group expressed interest in STEM, showing acceptance that the majority of women tend to stray away from STEM, but are very technologically advanced. They believe that the amount of women in the STEM field has grown a lot, especially in the last decade, given all of the technological advances and advocacy programs for those women in technology. When introduced to the question, why do you think there are less women in STEM? It was unanimously decided that society does not pin women as the type to be interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In fact, typically women who express interest in these things are typically viewed as quote-unquote nerds or geeks, which were words that were specifically used by the younger girls in the group to describe the social normalities of this specific question. In terms of growing the amount of women in these fields, the group suggested more opportunities for women that can be more empowering and less male-based, and incorporating STEM into the ideas and concepts that aren't necessarily STEM-based, like fashion, art, and music. On behalf of all of us, we want to thank you for allowing us to bolster your brand through public relations. We are confident in our process, our tactics, and our results. We cannot wait to get started, and we are so excited to help you reach your goals. One tertiary audience objective is to drive the purchase of DressCode's product by accentuating the brand's and the product's unique value in the campaign. While the number of purchases is measured as an end result, our role in public relations is to drive the result in an organic way, basically the means to the end. This is part of the reason why we chose parents between the ages of 25 and 55 as our primary audience, because of that $6 trillion purchasing power.